It's hard for me to, go from one day having my beautiful, loving wife, and then the next day knowing that person is going to be physically changed.
2020 hasn't been an easy year for most people. For Christian Smith, his wife China Lee, and their 2 kids, it's been a nightmare. It all started with a mole on China Lee's hip last year. She always had it, but it became painful and started to bleed, so she saw a dermatologist.
And I remember the dermatologist saying, "Oh, it's just gotten irritated. It's not that big of a deal. We're just going to cut it off," but they had to send it to pathology. And
About a week later, China Lee called Christian at work.
Barely understand because she was crying and she was hysterical, and what I did hear was that they called her and said that she had melanoma.
She had several procedures, including a surgery to remove a large portion of the skin on her back. After more tests, it was more bad news.
The cancer had actually spread to her bloodstream, so right then and there, she was deemed stage 3.
The melanoma wasn't from sun exposure. Christian said China Lee has a rare gene called the BRAF gene, which made her melanoma very aggressive. She started immunotherapy and heavy medication.
She is such a soldier, and she was doing really well, and then she had some updated scans in December of last year, and that's when we got it kind of, kicked and, found out that the cancer had spread to her adrenal glands and her lungs.
In a last-ditch effort, China Lee's doctors switched her medications. She was taking more than 8 pills a day. When she went back to the doctors in May, finally, good news.
Technically, my wife was cancer-free.
As the country shut down to fight the coronavirus pandemic, the Smiths started living their lives.
I've got 2 small kids, and my wife was very adamant that she wanted to make as many memories as she possibly could, so we would go on camping trips.
The family was on their way out of town Labor Day weekend when China Lee started having a stroke. They found out the cancer spread to her brain. Within a week, she had 2 brain surgeries to remove the tumors that ruptured.
But unfortunately, the damage was already done, and she was left with right-sided paralysis that's in all likelihood going to be permanent, and also dealing with significant speech dysfunctions.
At the same time, 7-year-old Claire and 10-year-old Aiden were just getting used to distance learning with the help of Mom.
I used to remember when she would teach me how to cook, and she would bake with me. It was fun when she was home.
Now, as China Lee recovers at Mountain View Hospital, Christian has taken over all roles.
Our house isn't a home without her, and it's almost like part of life has been sucked out.
A house that isn't wheelchair accessible. The Smiths are now transforming their home.
We're now having to look at, purchasing a handicap accessible van, because I know my wife, even when she comes home, she's not going to want to be confined to the house.
Christian told us the family has found strength with the help of friends, family, and these birdhouses.
Something about birdhouses just kind of spoke to her.
Now she uses the hand-painted gifts from friends to brighten up her rehab room. As she continues to recover, Christian and China Lee have a message for anyone watching. Don't wait to check your moles. And,
I know that this is going to sound cliche, but, we certainly adopted kind of this mentality of just taking everything day to day and living for each day. And
I love her really much. She's the best mom I could ever have.
the family has a GoFundMe to help cover medical and renovation costs. We've posted the link on our website. Just head over to fox5vegas.com.